हामी अब सान फ्रान्सिस्को घुम्न आएपछि हैन अलिकति लिनै पर्यो बसेको थियो कता हो हामीको रोडदेखि थाल्दै अलि अगाडि हो के अरे
One kiloton lines, only 3 today. On your left, the brick complex. Actually, it used to be a cannery. Oh yes, one more thing I forgot to mention while we're doing the tour, the narration. Using cell phones is not recommended because, you know, doing the narration and somebody talking on the phone will be unfair to anybody on board. Just plain and simple, common courtesy. Thank you so much. So we're traveling on the Fisherman's Wharf. Actually, the whole area is the Fisherman's Wharf. Now, the whole wharf, the whole area began to evolve as one of the main tourist attractions in California. It's the second most visited place in California after, anybody's guess? The seals and sea lions at Pier 39. So we're going into the area known as the Embarcadero, which in Spanish means place of embarking. The Embarcadero used to be a very busy seaport, and until the early 1960s, with the introduction of the containers, all the maritime activity moved to Oakland. And because we don't have any physical space to store the containers, so everything moved to Oakland. Giralda Tower in Seville, Spain. If you've been in Seville, you probably noticed the tower that looks like this one. Very interesting place. There's a marketplace inside, and on Wednesdays and Saturdays, farmers market. Very building. It was the tallest building in San Francisco at the turn of the 20th century. Yes, ferries still crisscross the system of bays. We have more than one base in the area. San Francisco is the largest of them all. So the big bridge that you're looking at is the most, I should have put it, is the busiest bridge on the West Coast. It carries approximately 275,000 vehicles daily. It consists of two sections. The San Francisco one, which are two single span suspension bridges. Then you see an island on your left. That's Angel Island. No, that's not Angel Island. That's Treasure Island. Angel Island is the largest of the bay system. San Francisco Bay, extending 50 miles or 80 kilometers, ending by the Silicon Valley. San Francisco Bay, the largest of the bay system. So we're approaching the Yerba Buena Island, and if you look to the left of Yerba Buena, you see an addition. And at this, we're growing. So were the churches around the missions, so were the vineyards. And the padres were actually giving the excess of wine that we're producing to local residents that began to assemble around those missions. So decades passed, 1770s, 80s, 90s, then you have the 19th century. Again, more missions were, you know, being built in the 19th century.
So the Bartolucci family planted their first vineyard in 1922. So they're now the oldest winemaking family in Napa Valley who still own and operate the winery. So they actually haven't sold out to a lot of the larger corporations like most of them have. So Buck Bartolucci is the third generation. He and his wife Sue, their two daughters, Brett and Taylor, make up the fourth generation. And Brett does have a 6-year-old son, but I'm sure it'll be a while before it's 5 generations, hopefully. So Buck is a certified organic farmer. No pesticides or herbicides are used in the vineyards. Now there's a huge difference between organic farming and organic wine. So first thing you want to do when you have a glass of wine is you always want to hold it by the stem. One reason for that is if you're holding it by the bowl, you're actually warming up the temperature of the wine. And white wine is always served chilled, and even red wine, when it gets too warm, it just really doesn't taste right. But also, especially if you're in a restaurant, but also, especially if you're in a restaurant, if you're eating any kind of like appetizers, any finger foods, ribs, pizza, just imagine what.
So I got.
दोस्रो वाइनरी टेस्ट गर्छु मेरो वाइन टेस्ट गर्दैछु वाइन खाएको बेला उनीहरू पनि वाइन खाँदैछन् वाइन खान पाएपछि अरू के चाहिन्छ त अरू केही पनि चाहिँदैन वाइन खाने तास खेल्ने डाउन हुने
फ्याक्ट्रीमा आएर वाइन नखाइ के खाने
वाइन खाएर डाउन हुनु पायो पुगिहाल्यो चारैतिर यसरी खिचो सीताले आफूले आफ्नै फोटो खिच्दैछ आइफोनबाट सीताको फोटो लिदिन एक्लैले आफैले खिच्दैछ ल हाम्रो पनि खिच्दैन ल सीता र हाम्रो खिच्दैन त
नजिक बनाएको
यता आउनु खिच्यो कस्तो खिचेको पनि थाहा रेडी पनि भन्दैन के भन्दैन खोइ
राम्रो आयो
हो खै त के हो त्यो
And have a very happy and safe holidays.
Take one look around.
A la señora que estaba preguntando muchas veces le sigo más pequeño, para que no hable más, ¿no?
Serve home winery.
What do you know?
He looks like Mom, did you come? He's looking at you. Looking at you. Why are you still playing like that? Play and play and play.
Thank you for taking video.
हामी कहाँ छौँ रे
हामी चाहिँ यो नापा भ्यालीमा छौँ है अब हाम्रो यो टुरमा आएको हामी अनि अब यो 6-7 घण्टाको टुर हो अनि त्यसपछि अनि हामी चाहिँ आज चाहिँ यही सान फ्रान्सिस्कोमा एक रात बिताएर भोलि जाँदैछौँ अनि यो चाहिँ मेमोरियल एकदम रमाइलो भइरहेछ है अब चलाएर
यसले भुइँमा बस्ने हो कि भुइँमा बस्ने हो कि
भुइँमै बस्दैन नि बस्दैन चिसो चिसो रहेछ
खै त
अनि म उठेँ है त उठेँ अनि फोटो सेसन भइरहेछ
फोटो सेसन भइरहेछ
कस्तो कुरा हँसाउन पो गर्यो
अनि के मजा
त्यही त
हँसाउनलाई थाहा बस्नु
अनि त्यहाँदेखि यस्तै बुढी रिसाइ अब के गर्नु
बुढी यस्तै रहेछ है
रिसाइ रिसाइ
रिसालु रहेछ एकदम
सरी
हाँसेको हाँसी गरेर
मन नगर्ने अर्को खोज्यो
उनीहरू पनि हामी सोध्नु हाम्रो पनि ल्याउँ ल
हाम्रो ग्रुपको
And he drove the wine up to his buddies in the mines. Very dusty, dry. Sold it to him for a nickel a cup. And then he would ride through town and people would come out of their homes with their jugs. In fact, that's how you did that those days. You had a jug, you came out, you filled it up, you paid it, and you went back to the house. In fact, there's some jugs right there, historical jugs they actually used to use, those two jugs right in the front. And by saving and hard work, he was able to buy his land and building from his uncle and start this whole winery back in 1904. Longest continuously running winery. So we have never missed a single vintage since we began. Here in the United States, there was a period of time called Prohibition, where it's actually illegal to make alcohol, right? Sebastiani was one of 10 wineries in the state of California that received a special license from the state to make medicinal, so medical, and religious or sacramental wines for the church. And therefore, because we got that license, we have never missed a single vintage since we opened in 1904. All these beautiful barrels that we see all around you were actual barrels used by the family. 5,000-gallon neutral red wood barrels, actually from Northern California. In fact, Northern California, because honestly, that was the cheapest source of getting wood at the time. So, brought down here in staves and assembled right here in the building, neutral, because the Sebastiani family hated the taste of oaky, smoky wood flavor in their wine. In fact, Italian style of winemaking is fruit forward. How do we bring forward the fruit flavor of those wines? So they didn't want the oaky influence. So completely neutral. But you'll notice each one of these barrels is labeled Pinot Noir over there. We got Zinfandel, we have Chenin Blanc. The reason for that wines to make a lot of wine.
Wow.
We only produce 225,000 cases of wine per year. And I know that sounds like a lot, but in the industry, that's pretty low. Behringer this year will produce 12 million cases of wine. So our little 225,000 is pretty small compared to what they're doing. The other thing you're going to see at a lot of vineyards is rose bushes. So we have all our rose bushes here. They've been already cut back. Rosemary and lavender. There's actually a historical reason for that. In the old days, those bushes were called the canary in the mines of a vineyard. So basically, at that time, if a pest was going to affect your vines, the head of farming would go to those bushes first because the pest would go there because of the oil and the perfume. Then the head of farming can spray. So white grapes go into those big aqua-colored barrels back there. Inside that barrel is a bladder in the shape of a football. And we fill that bladder with air in 3 separate stages, which presses the grapes against the side, causing the juice to flow through a tube directly into one of these stainless steel tanks. Then the waste product, which is the must, skin, pulp, and seed, goes out of the bottom into a hopper, and we take all of that must out behind this building and create giant piles of compost, fertilizer for next year's harvest. Red grapes get crushed. Red grapes go into a little unit that just barely breaks the skin of the grape. And then the whole grape goes into the stainless steel tank. And it's by soaking on the skin of the grape that makes it a red wine. So here's the equation.
California Republic. This is Sonoma Square. Of course, the name is Sebastiani, as you saw in the theater. Sebastiani is a very, very important name in this community. The whole area began to really develop as one of the main attractions in Roma in the 1970s. On your right, that will be the Sonoma City Hall. It was built in the 1930s.
We're going to the park?
Sonoma City Hall. A square-shaped building, stone building. And again, plenty of lodging places, plenty of restaurants around the square. That's another place where you can spend the whole weekend and then visiting all the wineries, spend the night or nights in many lodging places around the square, around the downtown, and enjoying this area thoroughly. So now we're going to leave the center of town, and I'll be doing a short survey, and I'm encouraging to get involved in that survey because it's very important for us as operators. In a few weeks, the official tourist season will end, and we have to submit all our results to our management. The bridge is synonymous with San Francisco, and it's painted different than the other 7 because it's positioned the closest to the Pacific Ocean. Therefore, to keep the bridge visible on foggy days, and we do have those quite a lot, especially in the summertime. That's why the bridge is painted this color. The official name of the color, International Orange. Far away, you see the other bridge. That's the Bay Bridge, which we crossed this morning. Beautiful side of San Francisco. It's a little hazy, but at least we can see things. That's the beautiful part of it. And it is the only of the 8 bridges allowing pedestrians and bicyclists to cross.
You want to go in the race?
So we're about to cross the North Tower and we'll be officially entering San Francisco County and City. As you can see, the bridge has to be constantly maintained because of salt particles left by the fog. Painted and repainted, and this is mid-span. Right here, the clearance between deck and water at 220 feet or 67 meters. That's it. Now the green area in front of you as we enter the city, well, that is the former military base called the Presidio, which began as a
केटाकेटीहरूलाई गराड दिल्लीमा ल्याएर घुमाउँदैछौँ टुर पछि हेऱ्यो त्यसपछि फेरि वरिपरि हेऱ्यो चिज मात्र खाएर आज बर्बाद गऱ्यो केही खाँदैन चिज मात्र खानु
नमस्कार विनाजु हामी यतै छौँ रमाइलो भइरहेको छ हैन अहिले बीचमा हो स्पेशली रक्षाको बीचमा सुजनजीको सीताको अरे ठिकै छ जाडो अलिअलि लागिरहेको
जे गरे पनि गरौ रक्षालाई चाहिँ 1000 राख्नु है त्यो रेखा नराख्नु
ढङ्गै छैन के कति सिकाउनु
जानी सक्यो अब
जानी सक्यो
ट्रेनिङ पुगेकै हो
हामी कहाँ छौँ केटाहरू अहिले यसको नाम के हो
हजुर
ठाउँको नाम के हो
यो सान फ्रान्सिस्कोको
गोल्डन गेट नेरको बीच
सान फ्रान्सिस्को बे भन्छ के भन्न त है
भर्खर त्यहाँ बत्ती बलेको ठाउँ के हो
भर्खरै बत्ती बलेको ठाउँ चाहिँ एउटा प्रिजन हो
ऊ त होइन माथि हामी त्यहाँबाट आएको
गलारी
हैन
गिरार दिल्ली
गिरधारी
आइसक्रिम प्यालेस हो स्पेशली
25 सम्म याद गरे कि होइन यसलाई
एकदमै यादगार रहनेछ जिन्दगीभर अमिट भएर चाहिँ यो
यसलाई चाहिँ गराड डेली भन्छ के
गिरधारी डेली
मिस्टर तिवारीको लागि गिरधारी हो
गिरधारी डेली
गिरधारी बारे खोले हो नि त्यसपछि माथि बनादिले चाहिँ त्यसलाई
हजुरबाको नाम गिरधारी हो हामी तपाईले के फरक पार्नु जाउँ के
जाउँ न
सुजनजी
के छ मलाई त के हतार छैन किन हो
अनि हतार
मम्मीको हातमा चिया दिदीको खुट्टा चिया हात दुख्या त अगाने दुख्या
बुवाले कमाउनु छ तपाईँ घरमा
बुवाको कानको जाली
बुवा होला
फुट्नु लाग्यो के हो
कमाउनु खपिस हो नि त फेरि
के भयो त कानै नसुन्ने भनेपछि के हो
त्यो जाली फुटेकै भने त त्यो नसा सुकेको बुढेसकाल लाग्यो
के हो
काम गर्नुहुन्छ बुवाले पनि हैन
गर्नुहुन्छ अनि अरू कुरा गर्नु अहिले अब त्यो सोलर पहिले थियो अब स्ट्यान्डर्ड सोलर
You come here for a fish. No! It won't choke me!
सुजन रक्षा कपिल सीतालाई आज चाहिँ नि ट्विन पिक्स क्रिसमसको दिन 2011 साल उहाँले ल्याएको यसरी सम्झनाको लागि एकदम राम्रो हुनेछ क्या त्यसपछि पनि फेरि यस्तै गरी घुम्न आउनु पर्ला ग्रुप लिएर हाम्रो कपिल देव जी किधर गया? हाम्रो कपिल देव जी किधर गया? कपिल देव जी किधर गया?
ए कपिल जी उधर एक लड़की मिली थी, उसके साथ चल गया, बूढ़ी छोड़ के कपिल बूढ़ी छोड़ के चल गया,
गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ चल गया।
वो उधर से वो लड़की ने चड़कन लाई दिया, वो आया अभी आया उधर से।
जापानी देखेगी तो जापानी देखेगी
अभी ओसन में
जाओ ले जाओ। केटाहरूलाई चाहिँ नि हामी ओसन बिचमा ल्याएर चाहिँ नि घुमाउन लाउँदैछौँ। हिँड्दैछन् केटाहरू फर्स्ट टाइम।
कहाँनिर बिर्स्यो के बुढा?
यो रेड बटन
ए
भइरहेछ।